Yeah, so Core-Distal, I never know when it actually sets up. It always sets up before it sets up. So, oh, it's set up. How amazing, amazing. Core-Distal is the relationship from your center, the core, but it's particularly this center of your core out to the edges, to your fingers and toes. So in the beginning of class, I asked one of the people in my Zoom room what they wanted to do, and they pointed to this area. So I feel like this is a good area to think about relationship from, that we're from our back out to our edges. Like if we can keep the energy flowing out and coming back in, it tends to be a healthier system, that we're taking it all in. So that's what Core-Distal, I said Core-Distal, mobility and strength. So mobility is the capacity to move, and to move like in intelligent ways or efficient ways with good kinetic chains of movement. And strength, we all know what that is. Sometimes people can confuse strength and flexibility, or not strength, mobility and flexibility. Mobility is the ability for me to really get around and mobilize my body efficiently. Flexibility is for me to like lengthen my muscles. We need all of these things, and we need a balance of all of these things. Inhale, open, stretch out and up. So in this, we can already feel into the core-distal relationship of our center to our edges. And then exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, open, reach out and up, and exhale, feeling the space around you, bringing your awareness into the space around you. And here's my metaphysical idea for the moment. Imagine that the space around you has consciousness and is holding you, right? So that it's supporting your movement. Right, as you move through this space, the space is going, oh yeah, I gotcha. It's an idea, it's a concept, but I find it to be very helpful in feeling supported as I make my way through the world. So imagining that all the space around you is holding you, bend your knees, soften your spine, relax your head, and that you are belonging on the planet, which you are because you were born, and gravity holds us onto the planet. Without gravity, we would all fly off, right? But we're here, and the gravitational pull of the earth helps us form our tissues and our bones and so the density of all of our connective tissues is formed by this relationship that we have to the ground. All right, let's spiral. Twist, looking around behind you, letting the spiral. I'm now doing a pivot onto my front foot. I'm going to do a few different versions of this spiral. Arms are flowing around through the horizontal plane. Nice twist, mobilizing my spine, mobilizing my legs as I am weight shifting. Going to change it so that I stay in the middle, and I just spiral and look around behind me, letting my feet even take some of that spiral. So I'm not rigidly holding my foot, I'm letting it move a little bit. So feel into your feet, the distal edge of your body. What is going on as you stay in center and make this twist? And then we'll get back to that edge, and you're going to flex and spiral. Look towards the back of the room and flex your foot, feeling your fingers centrifugal force radiating outward, and the center of your body is spiraling. It's just feeling into that, and then come back to center. Do I look like Anne Margaret in like a 1960s movie? I know it's not my hair, but like my outfit, like I feel like I'm like ready to go skiing in my little ski outfit. All right, circles with your pelvis. And then change direction, other way. So again, we're mobilizing the core. Now we're stabilizing our feet on the floor. So the center is really mobile. The distal part of our feet is stable. Let's open up into a big X, and we're going to cross over our body, coming into center, radiate out into space. Coming into center, radiate out. Big weight shift. Opening, really reaching on that diagonal that's reaching. So one's coming in, one's going out. Two very different energies happening through our body. Well, more than two, but in this, we're doing all these things. We're weight shifting. We're doing contralateral cross body movement. And then we're going to change it to the back. So that was in the front of our body. Now we're reaching into the back. See if you can touch your foot. Opposite arm to leg. And now, just for funsies, let's go with the same side. So you're going to touch and touch. It's a different kind of body half. Same side. Now that you figured out the opposite, what was it like to touch the same one? And let's do it in the front. Touch and touch. I'm keeping it open. That is a body half. We call that homolateral movement. One side versus the other side. Come in, shake it out. So just on a developmental level for our nervous system, babies first start to just do this kind of amorphous away from center into center, or out from their mouth into the mouth, right? Everything for babies goes into their mouth. But there's like a lack of defined organization, right? It's radiating out, it's coming back in. Eventually, the big pattern is going to come on. Also, they're getting this spinal movement where they're learning to hold their head, right? Developing the muscles of the back, the core. Then they start to get this push-pull patterning, upper versus lower. Then they start to be able to roll one side versus the other. And then the next pattern is crawling, cross-body movement. So in my classes, I try to keep moving through those different patterns, upper versus lower, right versus left, and then contralateral. Contralateral is like, let's take it down to the floor. Let's take it all the way onto our backs on the floor. Contralateral is what humans were made to do, right? We were made to walk. That is contralateral movement. We were made to run. And this cross-body stuff is great for our nervous system. It works our tissue a little bit differently. And our nervous system, all the nerves are routed out through the fascia. The fascia is the organ of form. It's like the system of biotensegrity that's holding us all together. Imagine really three-dimensional Buckminster Fuller whole body. And then our nervous system has to move through that. So as we move our body in these different three-dimensional ways, in these upper versus lower, right versus left, cross-body pattern, we're giving that nervous system through the tensegrity system of our fascia a really nice three-dimensional toning, right? It's like we're not overdoing one thing, we're giving it this really equal, fair, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do know what I'm trying to say. We're giving let's open and close the knees as we do this, just massaging through your lower back and hips, as big or small as you need to go with this. So we're getting the center line to have, again, the spiral, like what we did when we were standing and twisting. But as I'm doing this, I'm also really massaging through my back. There's the Peapod. Yeah, I was telling one of my friends who's a meditation teacher about the idea that the nervous system is routed out through the fascia. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, the fascia is what's holding the form of everything within our bodies. And so, and connecting everything. Our nervous system has to go through it to get out to the edges. All right, let's come in, hands on your knees, big circles with your knees. So in this, let's do it leaving your head on the floor for the first ones. You can go slow, hydrating up the hip socket, circular movement for these ball and socket joints. The circle the other way. Femur head into your hips. Loves round movement. And then let's do it. I just did it already with my head off the floor. Change direction again, if you know which way it is, and let your head come up towards your knees and then back down to the floor. So as you're doing this, think of slowly connecting down to the mat and then peeling up, feeling this massaging out the tissues in your back, like your erector spinae, the little intervertebral muscles, even the intercostals are getting some movement. So the intercostals are the muscles in between your costals, also known as your ribs. So all of this movement happening, change direction with the legs. This is clearly a teaching class. I'm teaching. Sometimes teachers just give class and you just do the movement. And sometimes teachers teach. And if you feel like it's too heady and too much, don't worry about knowing any of it. Just take in what lands and let the rest of it fluff away. Fluffing. Let's go with one leg at a time, really small. Let's take it up and just you're going to flex and point, change. So I'm not going big. I'm not going for a big hamstring stretch. Flex and point, change. I'm going more for this core-distal relationship, center to edge. Now I have socks that you can see, flex, point, change, flex, point, change, flex, point, change, flex, point, change, flex, point, change. Drop your head down to the floor if you want to. Keep going, flex, point, change. So we're not creating a holding pattern, a tension pattern across our chest. We're letting that open up, but we're still working through the legs and a little bit of work in the core. A couple more times. Flex, point, maybe getting a little bit bigger, but still not going for a huge hamstring stretch. Something very manageable here. Last one. And relax. Stretch your legs down below you and dig your heels into the floor. Try to let your head bobble up and down, taking a heel rock. Relax your jaw, relax your throat. Think of your whole esophagus getting really soft. Gut body, soft and squishy. Oh, Peapod is very active this morning. She's I think she's out of camera most of the time. She's excited. And then let's stop that and we're going, but she might jump right in front of the camera because she is right by the computer right now. Opening up circles. Exhale down, inhale, open wide, feeling your scapula, your shoulder blades moving on your back as your arms are circling around. So you're not trying to stabilize them, you're trying to mobilize them and feeling how they're moving underneath you as you're making the circle. There she is, curling up and curling down. And change direction, go the other way. Getting ready to pounce on what? I don't know. Peapod, come on, come on, come on. She's like, you're so funny. All right, last one. Let's come in, take the knees up, hands palms down on the floor. Let's make small circles with your legs. So knees are making small circles. You're massaging through your sacrum and lower back. And then change direction, go the other way. Lots of circles today. And then coming in. So this is a very core-oriented pattern, right? But we're letting the core mobilize. We're letting all of this move around, right? We're not locking it in and just moving our knees really constipated and tight. We're free flowing it, giving it some mobility. Change direction again if you need to. And then let's go with big circles with our legs. So coming up, flex your feet, open it out. I'm going with the flex, coming all the way down and then pointing. So here we have a very distinct core-distal pattern. We're working from the center, radiating out to the edges. Point your toes. Try to keep your knees straight as you go through that if you can. And I'm going to take my hands behind my head this time. So head can be on or off the floor. Hands behind the head is a nice support. Chest is open, breathing into it. Inhaling up, exhaling, especially through the hard part. When you feel like you're challenging yourself the most, give yourself an exhale and your core muscles will integrate with the breathing, giving you more support. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Oh, just leave it down there. Relax into the floor. Free up your spine. So wiggle the whole head-tail connection. Shake out your body. Jiggle. Be loose like a bowl of Jello, like a Jello mold of a human body. Which brings the idea of the cook, the thief, and his wife and her lover. I'm not going to say any more about that, but that is one of my favorite movies. I love Peter Greenaway. Turn in, rotate, and then the other side. Same thing. Lengthening down and in. Internal rotation. Hey, Peapod. Hello. And then come in and let's start to warm up our back a little bit more. So we're going to go with pelvis up. Hands down by your sides. Actually, let's do this. Let's take your arms up over your head. Deep breath in. Breathe all the way down into your belly. And then push up. Inhale. Taking the breath down. I am engaged a little bit in the front, but I'm not squishing in a whole bunch. I'm letting my ribs pop a little teeny bit. And then exhale. Push. Inhale down. Go ahead and let the ribs pop a lot so that the front of your body opens. And then push up. Let's change this. You're going to initiate with your butt coming down first. So from this position, you're going to think of arching down. Your butt drops down. And then you're going to flatten and push up. Butt drops down. So you're arching a little bit. You're releasing a little bit to come down. This is just one way of doing it. Press it up. Think of like arching so your tail is going down. Like you're going to pop your tail into the floor. And then you can come into more relationship with the floor. Press it up, arch to come down. This is not the way we normally do it, but we want to have access to doing it both ways. So now we're going to change it. This time we'll really roll up, rolling up through your spine. Your arms can just be by your side and then rolling it down, right? So we're initiating from the bottom of the body to go up, rolling up through your spine, and then from the top, softening through the rib cage and lungs to go back down. Could be a whole breath in each direction. I'm going kind of slow. And then at the bottom, I'm letting myself come to a neutral pelvis, right? I'm not staying contracted here. I'm neutralizing. Contracted, this is neutral. Rolling it up. Rolling it down. Really trying to soften through the rib cage and lungs. One more time. Rolling it up. And rolling it down. Now we're going to play with the ribs. I'm going to show you. I have a t-shirt under here. I'm all clumpy, but I'm going to go with my arms up over my head. I'm going to let my ribs pop, and then I'm going to bring it down and in. Ribs pop, arching my back a little, and then exhale. Connecting, bringing this whole part down to the floor. Trying to keep my wrists on the floor. Inhale. Pop, exhale. Come down. Inhale. Open it up. Think of breathing all the way down to your belly. And then exhale. Belly through the ribs, up and in. Inhale. Big and expansive. Exhale. Everything out. Inhale. Exhale. Everything out. And then we're going to change it again. So this time you're going to take your arms down. So we're not going to try and get that stretch up through this. We are going to do an inhale, exhale, scoop your belly in. If you've eaten, this isn't going to work. Just drop it down. Let the top of your ribs kind of open up and dome up and scoop your belly in. Come to neutral. It helps if you have no exhale. So you're going to inhale, fill up, exhale, out, 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 out. Inhale, fill it up. We're just going to do a couple of those. I'm done with that. It is like a yogic type of breathing where you really scoop that in. You're usually doing it seated or vertical, but it's good to feel around with what's going on. All right, let's warm up our hamstrings and back a little bit more active. You're going to press up, open your arms out. You're going to draw. So think of just pelvis shifting. I'm going to show you this from this direction. We're going to just take an elbow this way and then an elbow this way. And your head is going to turn towards the bent elbow. Shifting your pelvis side to side. And then from there, for those of you who want to, we're going to take it in, shift onto that and press up. Open it out. Elbow comes in, shift onto that shoulder, reach your top hand up over your head. Open it back out. Drawing it in, press, feeling your feet on the floor. So still tuning, feeling your hands reaching out, feeling your fingers and toes, still a core distal relationship as we work the back of the body. Also bearing weight on that rotator cuff on that arm. And I'm pushing the floor away with the bottom arm. Last one each side. And come down and relax into the floor. And we're just going to roll from side to side. So this time really relaxed, like you're pouring your body from one side to the other, massaging out, releasing and softening. Nothing to do, just letting the water in the body roll you from side to side. Easy and loose. Melting the shoulders, neck, and head, massaging through your back. Taking your time, let go of some of the tension you might be holding there. You're not going to fall off the planet. Gravity is supporting you and giving you a chance to massage out your back. For those of you who want to, we can start to unfold, open, and then fold really soft into the floor. Unfold, radiate away from center, fold it back in. So again, we have this core distal pattern opening up. It's also right versus left. So we have this homolateral pattern, one side versus the other. Opening, 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 and closing, closing, closing. Somebody is texting me and I see who it is. Cassie, she's teaching at the same time. All right, let's finish that and come in. Let's do this one. I haven't done this in a long time. So we're going to just have your hands next to your hips, inhale up and exhale, take it back. It may be that you're just doing up and down or up and all the way back. Inhale, push, exhale, take it back. Up, down, push the floor away, up and down, up and down, up and down. Two more. Press and release. Last one, you're going to go up and stay. If your wrists bother you, you can do this down on your shoulders, pulsing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Take it down, take it back. We've done a lot now to warm up your back. Let yourself come into a forward fold. Surrender and let go. If possible, curl from your tail to your head so you're in a really rounded position. And then from there, you can start to just lengthen through your head. So you can soften, curl, and round, and then lengthen and open. You may be here, like it might be like you're doing it here, rounding, and then to lengthen, really pulling through. So we're coming into extension of the back, right? So this of our back is flexion. This is extension. So as however far you want to go, like I can come all the way down and lay here. And I'm getting kind of into my hamstrings, but I am not stretching my back when I'm down like that, right? My back isn't doing anything. So if I want to get the stretch, I need to curl and then lengthen through. Hollow and curl, lengthen. Knees as bent as they need to be here. So often, if you're having back pain, it'll be one thing that'll bother it more. For some people, it'll be twisting that's going to bother it more. For some people, it's going to be arching or curling. And for some, it might be lateral side-sideness. So you got to figure out what it is and back off from the one that hurts. Don't not do it. Just don't do it as much. Yeah, so one reason why, let's just do this movement for our back to find some fluidity in there. So it's head, tail. We're going to add the theta breath, and you're basically just imagining that your whole head to tail, brain out through your nervous system is a river, as opposed to the spinal cord, or the spinal cord is very fluid. It's very wet. It's very squishy. It's also strong and elastic. So nerves are very elastic. They do not want to stretch a lot, but they like to have the capacity to glide within the tissue around them. So we're imagining that this river in our spine has the capacity to really glide, hydrate. And as we're moving, we're letting the discs fluff up. So we're creating a sense of balance. We'll just do some free flow movement with theta breath, which is the soft hiss. So big breath in, taking resting breaths whenever you need them. If theta feels like too much, don't do it. Really let your awareness be in the core, so in the central channel from your head to your tail. What is my core? What is it? It's all the stuff happening inside here. So very deep, softening, mobilizing, releasing. Whatever sort of holding patterns that you've taken on in your life of who you should be and how you should be, all the shoulds, let the shoulds just wash away in the river of your movement. Giving yourself real space to embrace the as is. This is what it is. Let's give some loving kindness and compassion to what is. One more big breath. Coming into your body as if you're just stepping into a bath or like into a nice warm Caribbean ocean. I don't know, whatever your idea of the yummiest, delicious thing that you could experience. Imagine that that's what's happening inside your body right now. Maybe it's, I don't know, rough housing for some of us who are more intense, but really finding free flow. Okay, let's start to reach with one arm and then reach with the other, letting yourself just roll. Your knees can stay pointing pretty much up from one side to the other, allowing this to massage out your back again. There's a little bit of reach away, and then you're just calming back down to the planet Earth, calming back down to Earth, a little reach and calming back down. Very gentle, giving your arms like this kind of, almost like the cat scrabbling, the cat doing the cat paw thing, reaching. Well, what they're doing, what do they call it? Baking bread, is actually, that would be so that the milk comes out of their mom's boob and they get milk, right? Baby kitten, getting the milk out of the teat. That's what that is about. But it does a lot of good things for your nervous system. So that kind of movement is great. We can conduct the big orchestra. All right. We've been down here for a long time. Let's not quite get up, but let's roll back and forth. So rounding through your spine, massaging through your back. If rolling forward and backward hurts, go side side. If it feels okay and you want to go slower or just hang out in a position, go for it. So yeah, for me, since my hamstrings are so open, my shoulders and my upper back tend to not get as much stretch. So this position is a good one for me to massage it out and get that stretch. But you don't want to stretch too much. Like when you've overstretched your nerves, it does not feel very good. It takes a long time to heal. Anyway, And it's kind of like, what is that thing? Why does it hurt when I fold forward or when I do a thing? It's like, oh, you overstretched a nerve a little bit. So you don't want to push it. You always want to be in dialogue with your body of, how is this? Is it too much? Is it the right amount? All right, let's come on to our sides. We're going to do something that I've been back into doing because I think it's super fun. Is it super fun? It is super fun. Coming into your Pilates pike. Long body, you're going to take one foot up to your knee, reach it forward, and then flex and go back. Right, so we're doing this distal foot action, but this motion coming from our center out to the edge. We are arcing and spoking. Here's an arc-like movement, and then pointing and poking a hole through the space. Arcing back, poking a hole through the space. Feeling the connection into your center, into your ribs. 2 more. Really reaching into the back space. Maybe this is a 3rd one. Let's come with toes to knee, and we're going to go backwards. Backwards, flex, and arc forwards. Toes point, poking a hole into the space behind you, and then arcing forward. I am not super duper stabilizing my upper body. I'm letting it move a little bit because I want this internal movement to be supporting what's going on with my leg, right? This upper body movement forward and backward. Like in a traditional Pilates, they would be very still and very rigid here. I don't think we need that more. I think we've gotten over rigid in our way of holding our bodies. So let it move, especially if you've taken a lot of classes. Give it some breath and some movement. A couple more times. Yeah, even my body, if I really go back, my bottom leg comes up off the floor. I'm letting my body do what it wants to do to counterbalance the bigger movement. All right, that's enough of that. Tap it out, let it go. Give it a bang. Let's bend our knees here. Point your toes. You're just going to rotate in. Hand on your hip. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rotation is coming from up here. 5, 6. You can see it in my stripe. 7, 8, 9, 10. Taking it back into a quad stretch. Breathe into it. In that position, you can internally rotate and externally rotate a little bit from the hip. Good. Then you're going to kick back into your hand. So my foot is pushing into my hand, kicking backwards. And then release. And let's do one up the side. So my bottom knee is bent, so it's easy to balance. My leg is coming up. I am turning my leg out so that my sit bone is aiming down as opposed to back on the diagonal. So I'm kind of neutral pelvising again, lifting that leg up, breathing into it. Yeah, so I had that knee injury, and my my chiropractor is, don't overstretch your MCL. So I'm trying not to do my straddle stretch unless I bring my legs in a whole bunch. But this hamstring down here is working for me. And then come up, and we're going to roll it to the other side. Actually, let's just do a release before we do the other side. So our release is rolling across that hip and then the other. If we don't do these releases, then the tissue gets more stuck and holdy, right? Grippy. We're kind of holding little grips and tension patterns. We want to let it open back up and be soft, fluid, and easy. Don't want to be holding the tension there, especially in our butt. You can also try, so I was kind of curled here, rounding my spine, rounding my back. You can also try arching a little bit and just seeing how that changes the relationship in what you're rolling across. All right, bringing it onto the other side. Taking it down into your little Pilates pike. And I'd say that if my feet were straight down below me, they're now about 12 to 16 inches in front of me, from like that movement from there to there, somewhere just over a foot. All right, let's do point your toes up to your knee, reach forward, flex, take it into the back space. Pointing through, poking a hole through space, arcing back, and poking through, arcing back, poking through, arcing back. Poke a hole, reach it away. Let your upper body have some movement. We're not trying to lock down the diaphragm. We're not trying to lock down anything up here. We're just letting it move through. 2 more. You're already on the ground, so you're sort of locked down, right? You're not going to fall. And then bring it in, and we're going to go back. Pointed toes, take it back, flex and arc forward. So when I do this, I feel a nice stretch in the front of my abs there. I can feel like we are actually lengthening our psoas as that leg goes back. Psoas is not here in the front of your hip flexors. It's deep inside. I'm totally losing myself. We poke back, arc forward. Yeah. And now there's so many amazing ways to look at what it is, like on YouTube. You can go Google psoas, and then you can see it in many different models or even cadavers, what it is. There's some really good people out there teaching. You can see it in a really three-dimensional way. So seeing what we're talking about, it's often helpful. We can know what's going on in there. Last one. And then we're going to bend it in, coming in, turning in. 1, 2, 3. This is very Anne Margaret. 4, 5. I don't know. Maybe it's not. 6. I just imagine that it is. 7, 8, 9, 10. Take it back. Quad stretch. Breathe. Yeah, there was like that whole like 60s, like all those movies where people are wearing these kind of turtlenecks and leggings and stripes. Turn it in and out if you want to, from the hip socket, rotating in and out. So my heel is sliding toward my midline and then toward the outer edge. And then kick it back. Reach into the back space, pushing into your hand with your foot. So push it back. And then release that and take it up to the side, rotating out. So if I turn in, I'm like that, my foot is turned in. I turn out, there's the sole of my foot facing the camera, and my sit bone is lengthening down. And while it may look like I'm sinking into my body, I'm trying to keep my neck long. This is my healthy leg, so I'm going to go a lot further with this one. Breathing into it. Good. And then release. Bring it in, and let's flip onto our, actually, let's just do the release first. So coming onto your feet wide, just rolling across one and the other. Let's add the full arm up, take it down, surrender to the floor, open it up, gather your inspiration from the skies, and then surrender, let go. Opening, opening, softening, opening, opening, bowing down. Letting that massage through your body and also free up the river of your spine. Last one. Good. And then coming in, and we're going to do some side plank with our elbows and knees with an arch and curl. So you could do this with your hip on the floor. So you could leave your hip down if you wanted to and still have this arching and curling, or you can lift up, elbow and knee are bent, reach away from center, draw it in, going 1. Head, tail back, head, tail forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, reach, 9, 10. Come down, pick up your legs. See if you can leave your legs off the floor to come around to the other side. Elbow down, leg on the floor, arching back and curling in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take it down. Pick up your legs. Let's come to the back so that your hands are behind you and just roll across one side, roll across the other, right? One side and the other. If this hurts in your back, you could do this down on the floor. If you feel okay in your back, you're going to roll to the side, stretch your legs out, fold it in, take it to the other side, stretch them out, fold it in, roll, lengthen, in, roll. So we're spiraling in the center and we're reaching out to the distal edge with our toes. I'm going to add a flex point as I go out there. Flex, point, fold, out. Flex, point, fold. You're going to maybe feel your obliques here because we're doing that spiral across your body. Organs getting a big old squish around. Last one. And come in. So our internal, external obliques are going like this. And anytime we spiral, they're moving against each other, right? That's how we move. If they couldn't move against each other, we wouldn't be able to move, right? So we need all of these sliding surfaces inside our body where there's this internal mobility. That's what mobility is, when we have surfaces that can slide and they can move easily. If they're blocked, it's harder to mobilize. Right, so that's kind of another way of talking about it. I feel like, I don't know, until recently, I haven't really clearly defined these things for myself, like mobility versus flexibility. They work really well together. We need all of it. We need the strength building, especially as we get older and especially if we're female. Well, males need it too, but women are more prone to osteoporosis, right? Because we do generally less weight-bearing exercises and our bones and density certainly will decline after menopause if we aren't working on it. But everything can get better if you work on it, no matter how old you are. So we're going to take it down to forearm plank and moving it forward and backward. Heels reaching back, head reaching forward. Then come into center, one leg up, just pulsing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take it down, lower down, hands next to your chest, and inhale. Arch, baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Think of your eyes looking out and up, and then releasing back down. Go ahead as high as you can. Connect your hands, coming all the way up, and then back down. Inhale, lift, push the floor away. You could try sinking into your shoulders and then pushing, and then take it all the way down. Inhale, up. Let's do a sink, push, take it down. Inhale, up, sink into your shoulders, push, take it down. Inhale, up, sink, push, take it down. Last one. Inhale, up, sink, push. Take it back into a child's pose. Breathe and melt. Yeah, not child's posing today. I'm going to come into this and just curl and take it back. You are welcome to child's pose, but I am not quite there yet. All right, let's come onto our backs. You're gonna not onto our backs, onto our butts. You're gonna take your hands on your knees, hold on, and then pull back. What I'm trying to do is lengthen out my wrist. Then I'm gonna lift my shoulders, sink them down, just shoulders, sink, lift, sink. Let some lengthening my arm. Then I'm gonna turn my elbows in and out, right? Getting that tissue to mobilize. So shoulders might come up and in, and then down. Then I'm going to add the spine. So I'm going to actually not just add, I'm just going to emphasize the spine. So pulling, lifting and opening, and then hollowing, curling, taking it back and down. Inhale, arch, lift, and open. If I bend my elbows, I can get through a little further. And then exhale, hollow and curl. Inhaling up, Chest and lungs to the ceiling, heart opening, shoulders drawing down, and exhale, hollow, still lengthening out my wrist. Inhale, pull, up and open, and exhale, hollow down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, hollow. Inhale, lift, and exhale, hollow. Ooh, one of my calves is cramping. That is a sign of me being dehydrated. Rotate your legs in and out, let it go. Bang them up and down. Calves, easy and loose. I don't think I have any water in here. All right, let's come onto our, let me just look at the time. I feel like we are approaching the end. We are approaching the end. Let's, I feel like I want to do some more back stuff. So let's come on to hands and knees. And we're going to do that same theta breath with ripples through our spine. So it can be rippling in any way. If you need more padding under your knees, get it. And let your spine really free flow. I used to call this exercise curious snake, like it's seeing what it can do. So freeing up your spine and add the theta breath. Head, tail connection. You can maintain that core distal awareness by feeling your hands really connecting into the mat. If you need to change your position to anything else, even here, go for it. So yeah, you could be on your elbows and do it here. Sometimes it feels really good to be there, especially if you're having wrist things. And if you have knee issues, you can also come up here with bent knees and try that. So if deep flexion is problematic, or just being on your knees, it's not deep flexion, just being on your knees is problematic, try it from a quadruped with your feet on the floor. Knees can be bent. Inviting whatever is holding in there, whatever might be stuck, whatever might be tight, to sort of reintegrate, to hydrate, to let go of whatever you're holding on to. So thinking of your deepest inner body wisdom supporting you. And then let's do one more thing here. I feel like we might have been on our hands too long though. So before we do the other thing, just grab onto your fingers and pull. You're going to turn. So I'm pulling my hands away from each other. If my fingers weren't holding on, they would pop open, right? I'm pulling and holding. So my collarbones are wide and I'm just turning in and out. So I'm lengthening out my wrist. Then I'm going to push forward, back of the wrist opens up, and then the other direction. Pushing, still trying to pull my hands apart. So all that tissue in my wrist, in my forearm, in my hand is getting a chance to differentiate in a different way than just being like that, right? You can pull one hand, pull the other. If you feel like things are getting tight in there, you can pull away, turning in and out, getting that tissue to wake up and open up, especially if you're spending a lot of time on a device like this or a device like this. Right, we want to make sure that our hands, these distal parts of our body, so important, have some free flow. All right, let's come onto our hands and knees again. Last thing here, we're going to go opposite arm to leg out, take it on diagonal, bring it back into midline, come down, up, take it out to the diagonal, bring it into midline and down, up. So we're working again with that contralateral patterning, up, finding the diagonal, bring it into center, which just means the opposite arm to leg, cross body movement. Even though we're not crossing midline with this movement, we're working the opposite diagonal, right arm to left leg to right arm. Oh, I thought it was the same thing. Left arm to right leg. Use your breath. Feel your shoulder connecting down and in. So as you come onto your weight, try not to have that shoulder up to your ears, feeling it really connecting down. All right. Let's come in onto our backs for stretching our hips. Taking it down to the floor. And let's go with this first. Really gentle. One foot is crossed over the other. You're just going to let yourself fall from one side to the other. Inner body lengthening out. Spiraling, releasing, massaging through your back. And I'm really flexing this foot just because that helps keep my tibia and fibula in the same relationship, so I'm not stressing out my knee. And then come in and you can pick it up, draw it in, either holding on here or grabbing onto your foot, breathing into it. Yeah. I'm going to actually skip this because that knee is not liking it. So you're still in your stretch or doing something else if you want to. And then release it and change it to the other side. Ankle over knee. See, on this side, I don't really need to flex that foot. I could be more relaxed. Just letting yourself spread across the floor. Inner body softening, melting, and spreading. Like a pancake, opening up. Tissue, soft, easy, pliant, flexible. And then come in, picking that leg up, same thing, grabbing on, or just grabbing on here, whatever feels good to you. Breathing into it. Tell yourself you're letting go. I'm letting go. Nothing to hold on to. And release that. Give it a shake. Let's go for a happy baby because we haven't happy babied yet. Let yourself find some happy babiness in your body. Imagining that your whatever part of your body is hurting is like a baby body, very hydrated. Like babies, I think, are born and they're like 90% water. As we age, that ratio changes. And Liz Koch, one of my teachers, has said, we can't help aging. We're all going to age, but we don't have to get dehydrated in our bodies. So movement hydrates the tissue. Drinking water obviously is helpful in hydration, but we need that water to not just go right through us. We need it to move out into our system. And that's one reason why we want to also have some mobility in our gut body. So the water can go out as well as the nutrients, things that we need going out, coming in from our inner body, because we're not rigidly holding it together. We're just letting it go. All right, let's come up and stand on our feet. And we're in this upside down position. You're just going to walk with knees bent as much as they need to, backwards and forwards on your mat a couple of times. Just letting yourself do it. It doesn't have to look good. You can bend your knees as much as you need to. Just feeling that weight shifting in this sort of lumbering animal way. Animals are usually much more graceful than this, but just finding that movement, contralateral movement, or maybe it's the same side going. Then you can come into center and take it into your forward fold. Just shift from side to side. My feet are wide, shifting onto one leg, shifting onto the other, bearing weight on one side, bearing weight on the other, standing on your own 2 feet. And then come into center, shake your head no, nod yes. Let the weight of your head dangle down, lengthening out the spine. Knees bent if that feels better. And then slowly roll it up through your spine, coming all the way up to the top. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, easy shake, shake and bounce. Inviting anything that hasn't released to let go. Ooh, so just breathing, shaking, waking up the space around your body. Remember in the beginning, imagining that it's supporting you. Now you can maybe give some gratitude for that fabulous space that has supported you through your whole practice. Letting go, bouncing around, letting it soften. And then one more breath up and down the outside. Let go. Ooh. Anytime we do that physiological sigh where take a big breath in and let it go, we're down regulating our system a little bit. We're letting go of some of the tension. So try and do that regularly throughout the day. We do it naturally unless we're on our devices. And something about being here, focusing on a little phone, doing this, we inhibit that. So if you're spending a lot of time on a small device, you are losing health in your lungs. The lungs need to re-inflate with that physiological sigh. We don't need to be breathing big all the time, but we want to be breathing fairly deep. Jill Miller has written a book on the anatomy of breathing. And she talks about the three zones, the belly, the rib cage, and up here. We want access to all three, but breathing up here is going to be upregulated. Breathing down here is going to be downregulated, right? This is more grounded. This is more, I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm relaxed, I'm depressed, right? They can be, depending on how coherent you are, how present you are. Like if you're disassociating, meaning not feeling your body going out, then it's going to be not as healthy a pattern. But if you're really present with it and come in, notice sensations, it's going to be healthier and more coherent, more connected. So people in TV land, thank you so much for joining. If you join in the future or in the past, they don't exist. There's only right now. Thank you.